Today's episode is all about narcissism, narcissist personalities, and how do we deal with them.
Yes, today is a little bit of a serious topic. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talk to Us Today. Today, we're going to be discussing something that most of us have encountered at some point in our lives, but maybe we didn't really understand it or know how to define it. So, Namita, we've talked about this off screen. We have a relative in our family who, from a young age, learned how to manipulate his parents. When someone would be unwell, he would feel jealous of the attention that the sick person would get. And as he got older, his traits became much worse. He would play mind games in the family and create like jealousies or just, so he could be the favored one, right? Playing mind games, creating differences, divide and rule, always putting down his siblings. And fast forward 30 odd years, his behavior pattern kept worsening. Now his wife and children are part of his games. It really ruins the family dynamics. And the immediate family members get extremely affected. Sometimes as a child, a narcissist throws tantrums and fits and, tells them, until the family members give into his way. So it's a really tricky situation.
I think that's the beginning of everything, right? When the child throws a tantrum and try to manipulate the parents and getting things done in his own way. That's the beginning of whole personality trait.
So we understand that like most kids do throw tantrums, right? And this is a way when they can't express themselves and they haven't learned how to communicate effectively. As parents, it's very hard to determine if this child is going to be narcissist because it's not completely upbringing. It's a lot to do with their chemical, and experts will tell you that it is a disorder. But if you see these beginnings, it's always easy not to give into the tantrums. It's hard, actually. Sorry. It's hard not to give into the tantrums, but we can kind of guide them, tell them, we love you guys, no matter what. Don't criticize too much. Don't overpraise when they don't deserve it. But them on the right path as a child as well. But tantrums but it's hard to define if it's narcissism or tantrums at a young age.
I think a lot of education is needed as a parent. Imagine learning the personality. Yeah. And it's extremely terrible at work, when you have a narcissist personality, always lying and who is conniving and creating that unhealthy work environment and making the whole office scenario so toxic, Simrit. I mean, we had this woman who was working at our office and she would mispresent figures, giving herself some extra credit, constantly bragging about herself. Oh, I have this, or my father, my president. Oh, I belong to, I don't know, bloody what not. What the hell are you doing here if you were so good? And when he started spreading these rumors and complete lies about to her colleague just to prove that she was better, it came to the point when we had full proof of her behavior and we called her and told her, listen, you have to leave. So
this is not going to work out, right?
Exactly, and she ended up threatening us end of the day as she walked out of the door. Oh, unbelievable, you're going to regret this and that. I'm like, okay, we'll figure that out, don't worry about it. So it's like, and it causes so much grief end of the day, and we lose our bearings and when this happens. And these narcissists are so clever, Simrit, and that even though we knew that she was doing wrong, we are made to feel guilty of our actions, of responding in a certain way that we do to protect ourselves. Like, oh my God, did we do something wrong? Like we're questioning our own judgment.
Absolutely. This is so important to understand. It's very difficult to decipher when we because normal human beings feel guilt right away, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to also understand that many of us will have certain narcissist traits surface now and then when we're in an argument or discussion. Yeah. But we have to realize that we're doing something wrong, and that guilt or that knowing of the right and wrong is where we differ. Like people who don't have narcissist personalities versus somebody who has a narcissist personality. Yeah. So when we see okay, you know what? I won that argument, but I think I was wrong. And so then when we curb our nature, or we'll just say, okay, you know what? Let's have a lunch or something. So because we do recognize it's difficult to say sorry, but we curb ourselves, and then we remember next time we're not going to do this. Yeah. The problem is when we're dealing with a full-on narcissist, right? Yeah. Some of the main behavior patterns which a narcissist person has is one. So like now to understand what it is. A huge self-importance issue, right? This person will say, you don't know who my dad is. You don't know what kind of background. Do you know I aced through I knew how to like count in my, at 6 months, or like overachievement. I was recognized. I mean, our relative would be telling his own mother that, oh, I'm, friends with Ambani's, and I know the Prime Minister of India calls. And the parents are so blinded. They're like, maybe you do. Like, we don't care. Good for you. It's good for you. And so there's a lot of this self-importance, and they value, they think that this is the way that the world has to see them. Yeah. Second is lack of any sense of empathy. Now, like you said, oh my God, this might be my fault, blah, blah, blah. They don't have any sense of empathy. They consider others' emotions or feelings as unimportant or inferior. They constantly ignore the sufferings of others.
Yeah, and then they don't even think, I mean, have I done something wrong? No time to like think and self-assess themselves. Okay,
right.
I think that was right or wrong. Or their sense of right and wrong is so different,
Completely.
Yeah. And some narcissist personalities have this extreme sense of entitlement.
Oh yeah,
they're very entitled. They feel they deserve special treatment or privileges, and without any shame, they expect others favors. I mean, they ask them for favors, and these privileges are like, oh, and I think every family would have such personalities. I've seen that grow up. It's just that now I know I can label it as narcissist. Earlier, like, what is this? So yes, and they have no problem with exploiting others for their own benefits. And they use other people, trample over and take advantage of the emotions, money, or if you confided in them. So you should not be sharing your secrets with them for sure. Anytime.
Yes, 100%.
They can just use it against you. And it's unbelievable, Simrit, how they operate and manipulate others and get what they think they deserve. So I don't know how this bloody brain works.
I think we need to call in an expert for that.
They would think 10 steps ahead, okay, this will happen, and eventually my thing would be done. Like, that kind of a brain that they have. And the worst part is that they blame others for their mistakes or failures whenever it happens. Oh, because of you, it happened. Oh, because you did not do this. And that is why I had to do this. And that is why it has happened. Imagine.
Correct.
Not admitting his own mistakes or failures.
Recognizing your own, mistakes along the way.
Yeah. I have seen Simrit, children, I would say now they're adults, blaming their parents, and they would say, oh, you only did this. You did not give me this kind of education, or you did not do this for me. Fault. You would have done it when I was a child. I would have been a different personality. I would have done something better. I'm like, come on, that the whole blame is being put on parents. Oh, you did not do well. So that's very, very simple for them to do. And it's mind-boggling how,
they manipulate the situation. Absolutely.
How they manipulate you and the situation. So
one of the other biggest issues is the arrogance, right?
Oh.
This arrogant attitude. You can sometimes, now that I read more, and you can make yourself aware with, there are tons of literature out there. You can sometimes spot a narcissist the way they walk into a room.
Yeah.
All of them suffer. If they don't get the attention, there's immediately they start talking. Like this person that I knew, he would walk into a room, and if he wasn't given the attention, his voice would get much louder. And I knew him well. So his voice would get louder. He would talk about things depending on the crowd, money. He would say, oh, I'm going to grab a mic. So their arrogance is hilarious. And then making fun of, if they meet somebody and they're not getting the response, they have to make fun. Oh, what kind of pants are you? See, in friends, this is normal, but they make fun of other people's weaknesses. They mock and belittle others just to make themselves look better. It doesn't work that way, but that's what they think. Condescending remarks are common tactics with narcissists. So, in fact, having a narcissist in the family or being in a close relationship, like if you have a spouse or a parent, the problem or a sibling, the problem is narcissists being on the other end of the narcissist behavior can lead to anxiety, depression, low self-worth, constant guilt, lose belief in yourself and your abilities. And physically, you can lose sleep. You can have nightmares, have physical pain. And most of the survivors of narcissist abuse have extreme mood swings. So it's a really serious issue here.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Simrit. So, the problem is, Simrit, what can someone do if they recognize a narcissist around them? I mean, if your partner or your child or your parent or sibling is narcissist, what can you do about it? I know it's first thing is educating ourselves about what narcissism is, and or whether someone is.
Yeah, just because you don't like somebody, don't call them a narcissist.
Yeah, exactly. Educating ourselves is very important. And yes, you can just tick mark, okay, these are the narcissist traits, or maybe this person display this trait a lot. I mean, but how serious is their narcissism? That is very important to understand. And I don't know how should one person proceed?
Well, I think the first thing is that, educate yourself about them. There's tons of literature, like we mentioned. There are experts who you can talk to. Read on the net what narcissism really is, what the narcissistic personality disorders. That's NPD. It's a recognized form. Then first thing is always is distance yourself. Create boundaries. If you can cut someone off, if it's a colleague, like you had this woman at the office, or it's a distant relative, or it's someone, a friend, create boundaries. Don't fall into the guilt. They will try to get you back in, cut off cut off the emails, cut off the messages, because today, even through messages, I've seen narcissists really create a lot of unhappiness and toxic environment. So create strong, and if it's somebody like your spouse or your partner or your sibling or your parent, now that's very tricky, because until you're an adult, you don't even know how to deal with. But create strong and firm boundaries, and keep as much distance as possible, and understand that you have to limit your exposure to them and their behavior as much as possible.
Narcissists love and thrive on confrontation, so you should
100%.
You should not engage them. And many of us, women and some of men have this feeling that they can fix their spouse, or that they can change the other person. Even before marriage, if you oh, this person is very dominating, this, oh, शादी के बाद सब ठीक हो जाएगा, she'll behavior change हो जाएगा, personality change हो जाएगी, पता नहीं क्या magic wand लेके आएगी, 5 cake घुमाएगी और personality change हो जाएगी.
It's a really funny thing. I remembered that there's a saying in Punjabi that, oh yeah, after a couple of years, the husband goes, I'm so unhappy. And the woman goes, yes, I'm unhappy too. And the man goes, I'm unhappy because you changed. And the woman goes, I'm unhappy because I couldn't change you. So it's really interesting, because in a marriage, you keep thinking the woman's going to stay the same. You're not, because that was love. And that the man thing, it was just a stereotypical joke or whatever.
Yeah, I think, you cannot change a narcissist, nor can you change their opinions or behavior, especially when they're at an age but you have to find out your way out. So, don't engage in power struggle with a narcissist. That's
well said.
I would say.
So for self-preservation, don't take anything they say personally.
Yeah.
They'll call, I've had this person call me, oh, you're so fat, you're ugly, they'll go down to any level. Just don't take what they say personally. Their behavior and words do not reflect what type of person you are. Keep your self-worth dependent on yourself and the people who you love around. Develop a good support system and network where you can go and share what's going on, so that you have people who can tell you what's going on, can help you provide, guidance, empathy, some kind of insight and understanding into what's happening. That's really important.
Yeah, and this is what we feel. Okay, this is what we feel about how you can work on based on our experiences and based on our learnings. But we always support seeking professional help. Yeah, and remember, it is very important to prioritize your own well-being and set boundaries when dealing with a narcissist person. Focus on your own personal growth, surround yourself with the supportive, positive, good-minded people, and encourage your emotional health, I would say. So, yeah.
And don't let your self-worth be determined by others. I think we did the takeaway before we ended it.
Yeah.
That's all on Talk to Us today. Please do let us know what you thought of our episode today. Send us your comments and feedback either down below in the comment section or email us at hello@talktoustoday.com.
And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay notified of our new videos every Friday at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us today. And remember to talk about Talk to Us today.
Keep smiling. Keep laughing. Keep talking. And take care of yourself always. You come first. Friday. Bye.